Alrighty team, we are live and we have a $24,000 Bitcoin. For those of you in Australia, we've hit $30,000, which in and of itself is amazing. But who would have thought, after all that crypto winter, when everyone was telling you crypto was dead at $3,000, we've already gone to $30,000. And it's had a nasty little throwback here. Remember when we used to joke about $1,000 daily candles, and I said, in the bull market we'll probably see $1,000 hourly candles. Well, we just saw a 5-minute candle that was nearly $1,000. This is 31,200 down to 30,100. Man, oh man. Okay, so we're going to talk about where this money is coming from, what's been happening. A few things we've got wrong, a few things we've got right, and how we can learn from those, or some, I guess, good constructive criticism and feedback that we've got from you guys, or you've given to me, and I guess just talk about a little bit of everything. So I am going to make sure that this is all coming through loud and clear, and I'll bring up the chat to keep an eye on and show you some of the most relevant news. But it all looks pretty good from where I am. William, thank you for the $20 donation. Someone says no video is showing. Okay. Awesome. Luke, you'll sink a bowl for me. Okay. I haven't heard that saying since high school, mate. You do you. Look, I think we're all going to celebrate a little bit. Tassie Prepper, that is a cool channel. That could be my alter ego. Not many Lambos down in Tassie, no. Alrighty. So, guys, if you are tuning in, smash that like button, share this video around with all your friends and family. Hey, I've already just, as I was signing on, got the old inbox, and the message was, hey, I'm ready to take crypto seriously now. And it was from someone back in the middle of 2017 when I first started my group, and I would message people manually who would ask. So people would request to join the Facebook group. I would message them manually with the details. I would then reconcile a crypto payment and try and balance the accounts. And I didn't even know how to use Excel. And I was trying to use Excel, keeping paper notes. So that is the basis of how Nuggets News started. And from there, well, actually, it's been 3 years since Ben came on full time. It's my birthday tomorrow. And hey, a lot has changed. For those of you that haven't visited the new website yet, this is where most of the stuff is now. It's all automated in the free knowledge center and the members log in. But my, how times have changed. I'm also going to show you a funky little indicator I've been working on. So this is the Bitcoin Ethereum ratio as well. We'll talk about this because I think this is very close to bottoming. Often, once Bitcoin completes its parabolic run, we've spoken about this a lot in the past about how money kind of will look for the next best thing or maybe to rotate elsewhere. And at the moment, yeah, I mean, geez, you hate to pick it, don't you? It could literally be topping at any time at the moment. Bitcoin is in that parabola state. And this is a new indicator that is Troy's, that I've been having a bit of a play around with. So there's a lot of funky stuff on the screen. Don't worry about that too much. But I might explain it a little bit later. It's just incorporating a lot of more visual aspects into things that we all know, like moving averages and RSIs, to try and help us pick when something like Bitcoin is rolling over. So let's have this on screen now. These are the signals telling you that a lot of the moving averages are starting to roll over, as in get divergence or they're losing steam. And so as you can see, we get a lot of these all together. And then we can get these kind of pulses that can not necessarily sell signals, but hey, this is something that Troy showed me the other day. I'm not sure how long he's had it, but I like it so far and I want to help him refine it. And I think a lot of you will remember ages ago when I started trying to tinker with my own indicator, and the dev that we were working with kind of dropped off the face of the earth, really. And so this was something that I liked in terms of just showing you a little bit of momentum, but it definitely wasn't a finished product. So anything that can really help beginners trade or just stay out of trouble, not even if it's something like not trading against the trend, I think that can all help. All right, so we've got Bitcoin there. Some of the biggest headlines we saw this week or just before, Bloomberg, we've got another Bitcoin whale servicing with $1 billion and Alan Howard's backing. So another big, huge fund. Some of these hedge funds are going to be huge once they've got Bitcoin in them. But this hedge fund specializes in volatility, and they've been buying more than 600 million in crypto. And again, this is in Bloomberg, guys. It is astounding how far we've come in the past 6 months from Bitcoin being this weird thing that no one would take seriously. The old saying, no one wants to be first, and now this is literally the race for no one wanting to be last. Saying things like, crypto, it's a generational allocation to digital assets. These guys with $1 billion who are just all of a sudden it's like, back in time you hear about things like people thought the Earth was the center of the universe and they thought the Earth was flat. And then once they find out that it's not, everyone has this reaction of, oh yeah, we kind of knew that all along. That's exactly what you're seeing now. It's almost like these big fundies are just saying, oh, we just had to wait for the time is right, or we just had to wait for the right products. But with all that happening, that explains why billions of dollars are coming in. Now, let's talk about a few metrics that we've been keeping an eye on lately. So one is the PayPal volumes from Itbit, is the exchange that they get their coins through. It started about a month ago. And we had that big peak, didn't we? That's right. Last week in November, 85 million. And it kind of chopped around a bit and it really dropped off the last few days. And to me, I thought, considering these other metrics, which we'll talk about next, I thought we're starting to see a bit of a sign that retail money was slowing up. And I said, be a little bit cautious because I don't think we're getting that euphoria and constant push to create that new money coming in. And I said the caveat was obviously if there's OTC silent money coming in enormous amounts that we can't really see in a lot of the data and metrics we look at. And obviously that's true now, so hindsight's great, but that's something we got wrong. And a lot of people said, or a few people said, you've been too bearish lately. But I think you won't hear people say that too often. I'm a perma bull. I've been bullish long term and medium term for the whole 8 years on crypto. I've never once said it. I think it's going down long term. But just in the short term, sometimes I think I make an extra effort to be cautious when new people are coming in, not to buy the top. And that might come across that way, but I think it's almost the right thing to do when everyone else is starting to get super excited, just to say, let's take a chill pill. Now today, that just bounced back incredibly. So we went back to 26 million, 57, and we're already at 91 million at 11 o'clock. Okay, so that day might have finished, maybe not. Anyway, that's huge numbers. This is obviously still constant demand from retail through PayPal on top of all that other big money that we're talking about. So at the end of the day, there's only so many coins, and it's very clear that the number of coins on exchanges are getting pretty low. So this is Bitcoin exchange, Bitcoin all exchanges reserves. Let's just make that a bit bigger. I've already got that one up for you guys. These are some of the miner flows as well. So miners have been sending less coins to exchanges. All exchange inflow. I want to show you guys so you can see that on this half of the chart. Oh, you can't see that from where you are. Hold on. Basically, in a nutshell, I'll keep it here so you can see them. Those of you at home. Okay, so all exchanges reserves. The amount of Bitcoins that exchanges have in reserves has dropped from 3 million right down to 2.5-ish below that now. So that's getting thinner and thinner in terms of the number of actual coins. And we're still not seeing a lot of coins from retail and long-term hodlers flow in. We've seen a little bit, and what we did see was some of the hodlers, or those that have been selling early. I think you'll remember we started talking about the people that were selling early were some of the smaller addresses. And more recently, it's really flipped on its head, where the people that we're now seeing that are selling have been some of the whales. And so they're the things that I was a little bit cautious about over the past couple of days. We've seen some very large miner flows from some of the larger miners. So there's just one or two things saying that some of that big money and smart money in the mining industry, some of them are starting to send across some coins. Now that doesn't mean that prices automatically goes down. That can very much mean that gets absorbed by all the buyers still. They've got to buy from somewhere. So I think that leaves us in this situation where now, indeed, we've gone extremely parabolic. We're at 88 on the weekly RSI. Bollinger Bands, outside the weekly Bollinger Bands. These are the typical places where you tend to have at least a pause, like we saw here and here. But it doesn't mean you can't just grind sideways or even grind higher before having that next parabola. And as I said a few weeks ago, you've really got to think about these charts in terms of log scale, exponential, because of how much money and people are coming in every cycle we go through. So, this chart still doesn't look that bad on a logarithmic scale. If you say, hey, where do you think we're going at the end of next year? We all want to get to this magical 100K figure. End of next year. See, it doesn't look too far out, too steep, does it? It's all doable if this amount of money continues to flow in. Other things that I wanted to mention to you guys, I have a few other tweets here. So yeah, this is another good one, just to put things in perspective. This is gold's market cap relative to Bitcoin, or vice versa, and 3%. So great progress, but still a very long way to go. And this is something I often spoke about, was how quickly the market is going to move. It's going to surprise people. I think I said that, the $1,000 days, we're going to have $1,000 hourly candle, and we just had that $1,000 5-minute candle. But this is also when a lot of people are going to sell too early. So how many people that we spoke about and we saw in the on-chain data that sold out once we broke 10K or those other levels, and a lot of people are just not going to expect us to go to $24,000 as we've just done. Or they're selling out at 20 and thinking there's no way that we can keep going and we'll have to have a pullback. And then it goes to here, and let's say it has from 24,000 back down to 20, it's a nice 20% pullback, but it's still, where you got out, and there was the stress and maybe the tax implications and rah-de-rah-de-rah. So I think some people are starting to see now that if it's your first bull market, or even if it's your second and you think, oh yeah, I'm going to learn all that TA and this, that, and the other, and I'm going to nail it, it's still very hard to predict exactly where the market's going to, top or bottom. And we can do all the technical analysis in the world that we want and use those indicators. And we can also do fundamental analysis, look at all the on-chain stuff. And we can get a pretty good idea from watching coin movements and things like that. The tools have got better, which is what I really love. But if this volume starts to pick up, okay, I'd say this is fairly likely to be at the top now. That's going to upset everyone. After everyone's just said, you're too bearish, and I've come out and said, no, I'm just being a bit cautious. Look at the volume on this, okay? This is the highest volume, 2 candles. So, guys, if I was a betting man, I would say that is the top for definitely short term. Maybe not medium term. Let's go back and have a look at 2017. I don't think you would have found too many occasions where we had the peak in volume and that would have not been the top. If it closes red, sorry, that's the one caveat. What are we with 14 minutes to go in the hourly candle and 2 and a bit hours to go. But if we close red, we close with a big wick above us and it's the highest volume candle, they're the sort of boxes which make it more likely to be the top. Now, something similar happened here. So that didn't have the wick at the top. This one wasn't the biggest. So you got to sort of meet all those criteria when you're already coming at it from the big picture and saying, well, where are in the grand scheme of things? We're at 89 on the weekly RSI. So building it all together, zooming into the short term for more of a perspective, then using your favorite tools and indicators, whatever you like, to get that final piece of the puzzle all the way into the 1 minute. Let's see how well the 1 minute did. Okay, not perfect. Now, what happens if Bitcoin tops? I honestly think that there is a barrage of money clearly coming in now from OTC and hedge funds. And we're starting to see that in the news where it sort of dried up for a little bit there. That could very much continue to push us sideways. And if Bitcoin was to say, if this is the top and it was to range between 20,000 and 24,000 for a couple of weeks into New Year, that would just be amazing. Remember how we talk about the all-time high becoming the new base? So 20,000 will become our new base, like $200 was in crypto winter. Now, if that is the case, it very, very much opens up the door for alt season. Now, think about the time of year. People are on school holidays. People are taking time off all their jobs. It's the festive season or whatever you celebrate in different countries. But I so often just think about the way that there's no coincidences, whales timing things. We've heard these rumors that the US might be doing something a little bit more strict with those wallet rules. They've been around for years now, but they dress things up in a particular way. If they come out with these quotes and these tweets and these news stories, particularly on mainstream news, maybe not so much crypto news, but they can create a narrative and make something seem like a really big deal, even if kind of everything was already out in public. And if they try and do something like that on the day that Bitcoin's broken 20K and whatever, it's not a coincidence that they're trying to control the beast. They literally said that when Bitcoin futures launched. And guess what? I remember this so clearly, guys, because it is my birthday. Tomorrow's my birthday, but on my birthday in 2017 was the top, and it was the day that Bitcoin futures launched. So I'm kind of a little bit, mixed emotions here about Ethereum getting futures contracts. I don't really want the Ethereum beast to be tamed. I don't want Bitcoin to be tamed either. These things are doing a lot of volume at the moment. I think they've hit record open interest. I also think a lot of that open interest was short. We definitely covered that, didn't we, in the weekly update? So a lot of these institutions were short, and that doesn't mean that they can't be wrong. So we're going to see a short squeeze on the futures contract, which is BTC 1. Or even though it's a cryptocurrency, it's not in cryptocurrency. Current front month contract. Yeah, a bit of a short squeeze there as well. No one is immune from this FOMO, are they? Look, I think Ethereum's just held back a little bit, hasn't it? Let's go to the daily. So yesterday when Bitcoin was just ripping out, it just was hovering around 620, and it kind of had a bit of a crack at 650 a couple of times, but it's clearly just not getting that wave of money. And that is the case for alts as well. The billionaires are going into Bitcoin. Some of these billionaires said they were going into Ethereum, but the circle of life is your friends that just start messaging you saying, hey, what do you think about XRP or Tron? It's a few cents. I can't afford $24,000 for a Bitcoin. That is all going to play out again over the next few weeks and months. Here we are. Sometimes I'm not sure what else to say. It's just amazing that we got back here. Now, one thing I did want to mention, tomorrow is my birthday. We are going to combine a bit of a birthday function with the Decentraland launch party at that HQ. Now, the price of Ethereum's nearly doubled since I put these on sale. So I am going to make these half price. First in, best dressed. If I've got enough gas. Awesome. Cool. There you go, guys. I think there's a link down below. That's going to be our launch party. Those funds go towards the cost of the building, the cost of the developers. We're going to deck it out with some artwork from our friend Fuocious, who's just done the New York skyline piece. I've been talking to her about doing something cool and, for Nuggets News, a bit of a cartoony theme, the way she does it all. But let's have a look at a few of these questions and comments from you guys. How different does it feel to 2017? I think one thing I'd say is that uh, I'm very cautious. Like I've seen so many people get burnt, do the wrong thing in bull markets. That's why I'm probably being overly cautious. G'day, Michael. Um, the cost of the ticket. This is a evergreen ticket. So this NFT that you get is a ticket, all access pass to all future events in Nuggets News HQ building as well. So. And extra things, like for example, when I decide that, hey, I'm going to combine a bit of a birthday party and have some special guests, we'll get Maddie to do a talk on the best NFTs. We might get some DeFi guys in to talk about DeFi. So, whenever we decide to do extra stuff, we're always trying to look after our members and our, holders and that sort of thing. Let's get that Bitcoin chart back up for everyone. But I am starting to lean towards the fact that this needs a strong bounce, because at the moment, this is some of the largest volume selling that we've seen come in at the top. But in bull markets, I think you always get a blow off top that feels completely nuts, and that can often build up in a whole week and lead through to the weekend. I was out at the moment, like I've had a very busy day, so I haven't really been watching it that closely to see if it got that feeling. And I imagine it probably did once it broke out and did that last $2,000 in a few minutes. Okay. Institutional money versus retail money. Institutional money, I think they've got more of the on-ramps. They're just more confident now. Don't go trying to time the market. Don't go trying to get out of Bitcoin and get into Ethereum unless you know what you're doing, unless you're very, very competent at trading. Hold both for the long term, and just appreciate there's going to be times when Bitcoin's going up and you think your alts are dead, and then there'll be times that alts are flying and you'll be looking at Bitcoin thinking, oh, should I get rid of it? And that's probably the time when it's just about to start flying again. How different is the bull market? So back in 2017, most of you remember it was almost purely retail driven. All the Facebook groups, all the YouTubers had crazy growth. Everyone on Twitter, it is just so much of a different space now compared to back then, isn't it? When you think about all those different metrics. Yeah, 20k support, crazy moon. Some friends and family still think it's a joke, don't they? There's a big differential between Nexus Mutual and Wrapped Nexus Mutual at the moment because of what they're, because of some of there was the big hack yesterday, but some of the stuff you can do is very much only limited to those people that are KYC'd and hold the security version of the token, not the wrapped version of the token, and that gives you a little bit more freedom. And so I think that was trading at a premium. So Wrapped Nexus Mutual is holding it around, where are we, $17, $18. I think Nexus Mutual had tanked all the way down to, we don't have Nexus Mutual by itself. That's all right. We can look it up. Nexus Mutual should be trading a lot less. No, other way around, more. Okay, $24. Now, the other one we should mention as well, while we've got you all here, I think this one completely has gone under the radar of most people. A lot of you guys will know it because you're avid followers of this project now. But they've just announced Mike Novogratz and Galaxy Digital, one of the biggest personalities in the crypto space, one of the biggest funds in the space. I told him about RedFOX Labs, as I said in the interview at the time, and sure enough, they did their due diligence like we did, and they said, you know what, this is really cool. We want to invest, and I introduced them, and the rest is history. So that's massive news. Partnerships with Coincilium. Read between the lines there for some breadcrumbs. They've announced the second version of their COGS. That's already the number one NFT on the Wax blockchain. They're now coming to Ethereum. So, guys, this is just hitting so many boxes. They're in the DeFi field. This is why I loved this project and gave it a big rap. Nugget has cost me so much money calling tops. I would have said that I'm one of the only people that hasn't called a top all the way up until $20,000 actually. And in the past, I called the top on the 13th of December. 4 days before it topped. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. I'm sure I tweeted this. Anyway, this is what I tweeted on the 13th of December 2017. Something like this. We've made life-changing amounts of money. Everyone's bragging. You know, that is the time to sell. And people still didn't take the advice. And it's probably worse. I think one mistake beginners often make is that when it doesn't happen and you say, oh, you know, Bitcoin keeps going up the next day and the next day, or when it's a couple of weeks and people say, you know what, that's wrong. But just because if you can't call something to the minute, doesn't mean you just keep pumping into those alts and think it's going to last forever. And the same with this Bitcoin rally. You just don't think, oh, this is going to last forever. It's great. You know, what we're going through now is the result of that hype cycle, the emotions. You got to go through those years of pain and get to rock bottom before you can enjoy the excitement and the way up as well. But yeah, that's, you know, I'm never going to be perfect. If I got things right 100% of the time, I'd probably be on an island somewhere. I am. I'm on Tassie. There you go. So tomorrow, how old am I? I am 33. And I think this is probably the year that I've aged the most. Boy, oh boy. I think I've got a few grey hairs after running a startup with 25 staff now, getting married, having a baby, not sleeping enough, falling asleep in live streams as members saw last week. One thing else I should mention here is when you're trying to, you know, look at the chart and what it's doing, or calling tops or not, you should definitely not be acting on that as a investor in terms of, oh, is the market topping? Oh, does that mean I should sell? The answer is maybe sell a little bit and lock in some profits if you're really happy. But if you're going on this mission where I think we're going to 100K, you know, we've just gone from 3,500 in March to 23,500 in December. So in 9 months, we've gone $20,000. Do you really think that we can't get to $100,000 when we've got all these institutions now saying, yep, this is a real deal. We're just putting the pieces in place. So this is going to be in everyone's portfolio in terms of 1 to 5%. I just think the opportunity is amazing. All right, here we go. This is the test. Can we get a big, strong bounce with some volume that matches the volume on the way down? We don't want this to have a little move up here and be on really low volume. That's going to tell us that things are, you know, out of whack, and that's where you use an indicator like on balance volume. Another one that I do like to use from time to time, and this can tell you, have we got a good example here? So at the moment, this is all fairly healthy. You want an example of divergence. Yep, this will do. Okay, can you see that nice and clear now? Yeah. So when we have price continue higher, but on balance volume is lower, that tells you that on balance, the volume was lower here. So it gives you less confidence in this price. It's almost like the realized value that we talk about in terms of realized market cap. It tells you that this is a less true reflection of price, because if 100 people pay this price and then one person paid this price, it's not very stable or secure. It hasn't been tested, and that's where you are more likely to have that bit of a correction on higher volume, and that's what happened. So hey, that's a brief explanation on balanced volume. That is one of probably 100 metrics you can look at to try and pick a top or bottom. And we are turning up again. Well, guys, that's been a quick little update. I didn't want to have this one to be super long. I just think it's amazing that we're up at all-time highs. And thank you to everyone that's been supporting the channel. The growth in our members area and all that is fantastic. The growth in our staff to cater for you guys has been huge. I honestly do hope to see a lot of you at this. The building is 4 stories of goodness. Decentraland is just such a cool place. And as I say, half price because the price of ETH is nearly doubled. And because it's all-time highs, it's my birthday, I'm in a good mood. Hey, it's the bull market back. And don't panic if Bitcoin does top and it starts to range. Get excited for the fact that alts are probably going to have a bit of action. And your friends are getting excited and asking about crypto. This is what we've been waiting for years, guys. So love you all. I'll speak to you again soon, and take care. Cheers.